still June 29th, Sunday, and it is our second Superman Sunday, our second discussion of Superman as we lead up to the release of Superman. What is it? Just Superman? Superman Birthright? Superman Legacy?
It's just Superman.
It can't be seen.
I think it's just Superman.
Cheers is with us. Anyway, last week we discussed the basic conception of Superman and my general premise that comic books are better than movies at...
Because we need to compare them.
Well, no, at impossible things. And that's why Superman, the first superhero, is uniquely a comic book thing. Because he's lifting that car in Action Comics #1, and it's like, holy, that dude's lifting that car. But if in 19... Right? So that's one of my major premises when we talk about the movies. My second premise, which I don't think I've discussed with you, is... This isn't the new Superman. It's just the next Superman. They literally canceled... Oh, they have? Okay. They literally canceled the TV show to make this movie. There was a guy who was being Superman already. And then the third is that... this is like, I think, nothing new or amazing. But people project a lot of their own stuff on the version of a character they fell in love with. They fell in love with George Newell on Justice League Unlimited, or Christopher Reeves in the old movies, or the John Byrne version of the character, or the Dan Jurgens version of the character, and that is Superman from then on, and they can't see anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it would be fun, and I did, to reread. I showed it last week. You're like barely in the camera.
Sorry.
I know. It's funny to me. It's like is someone there?
Watching.
Yeah. Well, it's saved. People watch it later. It's kind of a late one
Comment
for
if you're
live.
watching it later.
Yeah, please. So I reread Superman Year One and Superman Birthright this weekend. Kirita has read Birthright. She's never read Year One because very few people have read Year One. As I said when I talked about it, as I said when I talked about it, the first issue and then the second issue really threw people for a loop, and it was not what you normally see with Superman. So they just were like, no, I can't read this. And it got me really thinking as I was rereading it and reading Birthright. Birthright has all the explanations. Mm-hmm. Oh, he wears multiple layers so no one can see. Oh, he wears his hair this way. Oh, he this and that. Right? And I just think it's interesting because, like, you don't need all that for Superman. Superman doesn't have to be explained. I don't think. He's flying around. He's wearing tights. He's Superman. How does he keep his identity? Blah, 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 blah. I just literally, right before I started this live stream, I saw a thread where somebody posted, James Gunn says that Superman uses hypno glasses. It's a long forgotten plot line that no one remembers. And I'd seen that a comic person, a guy who worked for DC for years, wrote, yeah, and the writer hated it. The editor made him do that. Everyone thought it was the stupidest thing. Like, it is. It's ridiculous. It's that Clark Kent's glasses have a little thing that hypnotizes people to see Clark Kent as someone different than Superman.
That is stupid.
Right. It's too much. It's who puts the gas in the Batmobile. It's way too much. But that's the sort of thing they used to do when they were making this to be like a fun...
It defeats the entire purpose of even having an identity of Clark Kent.
Right. You could be anyone.
You're not... It's like that you've lost an integral aspect of Superman.
So that's what I want to talk about today. Is Superman... Must he be Clark Kent? I think absolute Superman.
Superman. We're talking about Superman.
I think absolute Superman that Jason Aaron is writing right now is not Clark Kent. And I still think he's a great Superman. Razio.
Okay.
Right? Do you agree or disagree? Like, you can be... I think you can be Superman without being Clark Kent. I just think that you need to have the values that Clark Kent has somewhere in there. You know what I mean? Like, this Superman has values because he was raised like Krypton in Absolute. So he has those values. He's for the working man. He believes in good and justice and kindness.
I hear you.
So yeah, he's Clark Kent. Henry Cavill's Superman is my favorite example. You didn't watch those movies, did you, Man of Steel?
No.
Man of Steel, like, that's all he is. He doesn't use his powers. He doesn't be Superman. He's just Clark Kent.
Isn't he like dark and gritty?
He's not dark and gritty. He keeps to himself. But when anyone's in trouble, he secretly saves them.
Loner.
Yeah, exactly. But he's still like, he's still got these values that his dad raised him with. But he's never Superman until the end. And he puts on the suit.
I mean that the idea of having a human aspect,
right,
is integral to.
So that's what I think is interesting. If you had read Superman Year One,
not just super
right?
Being.
Right. No, exactly. If you'd read Superman Year One by Frank Miller, it was Frank Miller's big issue is he never really liked Superman, and he's writing this years later when his whole view on superheroes has kind of changed. So he's doing Superman very mythologically, and there's a moment where
Which one is this?
this is the one that I gave you.
It's a Bird.
No, this is It's a Bird is totally different.
Yeah, it's just that's a similar concept.
Right, he has that concept. So he has him leaving and Lois Lane going, "Where's Kent?" And Jim Ellis is like, "Oh, he already left." And he goes, "Oh, she's useless." He goes, "Useless." And then like he's going to the car. Like one day he'll slip away and he'll leave behind Clark Kent and he'll just ascend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, is that still Superman? If Superman's talking about like Clark Kent leaving Clark Kent behind, can it still be Superman? And I think that's really interesting because I think that's kind of the idea he's playing with. And it literally ends. Spoiler, you're not reading it soon, I don't think. The Superman Year One literally ends with, oh, there's a city of Kandor being held by Brainiac somewhere in deep space. Goodbye, Wonder Woman I just met and instantly fell in love with. He meets Wonder Woman, instantly falls in love with her. Goodbye, Batman, enemy who is now an ally I just met. I'm going into space. It's not Kandor. That's the end of the series. Like, he literally ascends out of Earth. To go
what?
save the people of Kandor from Brainiac. His people.
His real people.
Yeah, I
That
mean...
doesn't make any sense. What do you mean his real people? That's like saying that somebody who's adopted, that their birth parent, their biological parents...
Right, well that's what's
parents.
weird, is the whole beginning is him telling his parents, don't feel sore, you raised me, you're my parents. The new Superman movie that they're making, from the bits I've seen about it, we were being asked what it's based on.
Yeah, I see.
That's mostly based on All-Star Superman with a little bit of the Superman Birthright, which we're talking about by Mark Waid and Laniel Yu. It's a really wonderful modern version of how Clark Kent decides that Superman is what he has to be. In this one, his mother literally is like, I stayed up all night and I made this out of your blanket. Take it with you to boot camp. And it's like, what? You'll need it. And in boot camp, he wears it when he goes to meet Poseidon.
Poseidon?
Yeah. He falls in love with a mermaid, which actually is...
What is with him and falling in love?
The same, yeah.
He needs to calm down.
Well, this one is literally every change in his career is he meets a woman.
Oh, come on.
He meets Laurie. Yeah, it's very Frank Miller. He meets Laurie Lamaris. He lives down in Atlantis with her, and then he meets Lois Lane, and he goes to college.
Did you say Laurie Lamaris?
Laurie Lamaris.
Of course.
His
LL.
Yeah, she's a Golden Age
and
character.
And they chose to make Lex Luthor. Really?
They chose it. It was all done at the same time. It was just a way to make everyone remember everyone. Yeah. Yeah.
So funny.
Well, what's really funny is people say things like, oh, like Lex Luthor and Clark Kent and Peter Parker, and it's like, great, but when Stan Lee did that in the 60s, that was like...
Kent is C and K at least.
Yeah, but that was a big deal when he did that. People were like, oh, you're doing that? That's so cheesy. It's so old.
I like it.
And it put Spider-Man instantly in that ranking. It's classic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of, I think, of what makes Superman. Part of what people want about Superman is they want Superman to feel classic. They want him to feel old school. They want him to feel something that projects a nostalgia or an older world. I think that's a humongous, much bigger part than he has to be Clark Kent and raised by certain people or whatever. I think much more there's this attachment to Superman as of an older world, not older world, but a higher level of refinement, let's say, a closer to Platonic concept of morals. Yeah. That I think is more important than it being.
But it's the idea of Superman, like Ubermensch or whatever. Like, you have to have both aspects.
Right. Well, the question is, can you have Superman without powers? Inspiring people to lead.
No, then it's not Superman. It's still a great thing, but it isn't Superman, because the whole idea of Superman is
that he has those powers.
Superman is in the name.
And that's why the powers grow as society and the world gets more complicated, because it used to be, oh, well, he could do basically anything. What does that mean? He could do anything. He has super ventriloquism. He has super telepathy. He had super telepathy. He has all these things. Super calculations in his brain. He can go super fast when he does math. Yeah, like super stomach. He can eat when he needs to. Superman can activate his super stomach.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's
things like that. And that's not necessary. It's not the 50s anymore. It's not everything has to be amazing and the greatest and the best.
Yeah.
But then we had the 80s where they had to explain that he vibrates his face so fast that he can't.
You like that one?
I love it, but it's also gilding the lily. It's not necessary. It was fun at the time. Now it's necessary. Like now, there's that big meme when you were a kid on Facebook. Facebook introduced this thing where it would take a picture and enough people had named people. Oh, this is so and so in the picture. This is so and so in this picture. That it was doing it on its own. Is this so and so? is this so and so? It would have a little thing. It would pop up right here, a little square. Go, is this so and so? Right. So there's one where Lois Lane sitting at the the Daily Planet computer, and this picture of Superman up is like, is this Clark Kent? And she's going,
that's funny. That's
Yeah.
like that
It's like-
cover of that one Superman issue that like it's like Lex Luthor used his like supercomputer.
that's the
to
one with the
find
yeah
out-
with the vibrator. With the,
No. It wasn't like like anything like that. It wasn't like a Facebook or anything. It was not that.
No, it
fun.
wasn't that. No, it was the one where
It
he
was his
vibrates
big-
his face.
Big supercomputer.
Yeah, his giant computer, and it's like a picture of Clark Kent.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's
But
ridiculous.
I just watched like one. I mean, I just read like that one. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't go very far.
Well, that run is filled with little one-offs like that
yeah,
that are just sort of like
did it,
how,
sounds like it was-
why, and then giving like that's the run. That's the John Byrne run that introduces. Again, talking about projecting. The John Byrne run where Lex Luthor, everyone who worked for him was a fit young lady. Like
Yeah.
if you read that comic,
Lex Luthor, really?
Yeah, it was all the women, everyone working there was.
I just think that's an interesting choice.
Well, he was based on Trump at the time.
Lex Luthor
That Lex Luthor, the '80s Lex Luthor, he owned a lot of real estate. He was morally corrupt, and he.
sounds like a lot of different rich people.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but they did a lot of Trump-related stuff with him at the time. But that's another one. Like people are always like, well, Lex and Clark have to have been friends, and they have to. It's like no. First, you have to have your Superman, and then there has to be a diametrically opposed Lex Luthor.
Mhm.
So, like, great example in the Man of
The
Steel.
opposite of C and K is L.
Right, exactly. Well, obviously.
Obviously.
C minus K equals LL. No?
C minus K divided by L plus L equals Superman.
Okay. So you're saying you need Lex Luthor for Superman to work?
No, that's what you're saying.
I'm asking you though. That's my question.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find right now.
Luthor
What
is-
makes a
epitomizes-
Superman Superman?
Lex Luthor epitomizes. He's a physical manifestation of like an evilness that Superman needs to fight against. It can't just be. If you're writing a comic book, it's really difficult to just have Superman fighting against all bad, all evil of the world. So they put a physical manifestation of that evil in Lex
Right,
Luthor, and so
but-
therefore that's what Lex Luthor.
But is Lex Luthor a more classic Superman villain than Brainiac? Yeah.
Yeah.
Brainiac?
Yeah, that's because I think it depends on who you're
Brainiac
asking.
shrunk
I think
Kandor,
I
man.
think it depends on like demographically who you're
Okay,
talking to.
fine. No, I think Lex Luthor wins. I think Lex Luthor is the arch villain of Superman.
That's like asking Joker and Penguin. to
No, but see,
Batman.
Batman's totally different. It's totally different because Batman's whole thing is the spice of how he fights each one of
Not
them.
the spice.
No, I'm just saying. So like,
Condiment King.
Condiment King, exactly. No, but they a good Mad Hatter story goes on for 3 or 4 issues because it's got all this cool Alice motif.
Right.
A good
yes.
Two-Face story is 1 issue.
Yes.
You know, like with Lex Luthor and Superman, it's every single kind. You can have single issue stories. You can have little slice of life stories
It's 12.
where Lex Luthor goes on vacation for 2 days and Superman gets to relax, and that's literally a story. You know, and that's something I think makes their relationship, I think, more than anyone else. I remember when Doomsday came out and they killed him, and everyone's like, "This is the new
Killed who?
Superman. He's the new arch villain, Doomsday. He actually killed Superman." He's like, "Yeah, but that's."
Okay, but how could he be a villain if Superman's dead now?
Well, first off, Superman came back.
Okay, of course, but like, if his biggest
Spoilers
claim,
to
if his
event 30
biggest,
years ago.
if his biggest claim to being supervillain is that he killed Superman and Superman comes back, what claim do you have then at that point? He killed Superman. Obviously not. He's
Yeah,
back.
we've all thought we've done that. By the way.
Yeah.
Well, Doomsday was
They've
just
all
a
killed
mind-
Superman at some point.
That's true. Absolutely.
Like,
Superman's
You
faked
gotta
his
have
own
more.
death
You gotta
numerous
have
times.
more.
Alan
give
Moore
me
wrote a great one where the whole end is like a wink at the audience. Yeah, I'm Superman.
I die. I
tricked
come
there.
back. Whatever.
Yes. Well, no, he
You know me,
got out of
guys.
being Superman. He pretended to die.
Why would he ever want to get out of being Superman?
There were a lot of
Doesn't
other
make
heroes.
sense.
He was older. It was the whole thing. It's not like he just
Okay,
abandoned
fine,
everything.
fine,
But
fine.
it's a little wink to the audience, like, yeah, of course he didn't die. That's his kid over there.
That's his kid over
Yeah, crushing the baby crushes Lois Lane's baby crushes a piece of coal into diamond. And her husband has this mustache and kind of winks at the audience. Yeah, it's like Captain America at the end of Endgame. You know, no, I stayed. I'm an old man now. It's that same level of like, I really can't stand that bit. I need to get it out of my system, so I need to bring it up. I hate that bit.
What?
Yeah.
Him going.
Yeah, I just fucked up the timeline, so I got to dance with my
Timeline
girlfriend.
was already fucked up.
Well, I got to dance with my girlfriend though, so it's all okay.
I think that.
I'm sorry.
No, like
I'm
fine. Sure.
sorry.
Do you really care about the integrity of the timeline of the MCU?
No, I don't.
Exactly. I just
It's
don't.
like,
I just like
people are always
to
like,
have
"Oh, that
Captain
scene
America
is so
be with the
beautiful."
Avengers. Like I just that was.
Well, don't
fun.
worry. After the big Secret War snap, they'll the next bunch of movies.
Oh,
they're
I
gonna,
don't care about that.
I
I'm just
know
keeping
by
up with
now.
Spider-Man.
All right. Anyway, Superman. So let's wrap this up. I think foundationally, what makes Superman Superman is a lot more about reflecting the society that he's making the film for or about at the time and all that stuff than any one thing. But there's very much a nostalgia factor, as you point out, powers. He's got to have power. He's got to be like able to freaking lift cars over his head, fly, you know?
He has to be able to fly.
And
Well, he doesn't,
but he kind of does. Like it's.
But he doesn't, but he kind of does.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's like I said. I think the Frank Miller one, year one, is so interesting because he makes it literally every year he's on Earth, since he's a baby, he's just been getting more powerful
Right.
because he's absorbing more solar energy.
Right.
So he's just more and more powerful.
I like
He
the
says
one
it.
where he like. I mean, I don't like it, but the one where he gets cancer or whatever.
Oh yeah, well, All Stars Superman.
But more so than that, like the sun, like with all that's happening with like no one's addressing the fact that like of greenhouse gases and the fact that we're all like getting microwaved alive. What would that be like for Superman who experiences like this powerful? Like would he just?
Oh well, that's an
would
interesting
that
point.
kind of just like what would
See,
that?
the problem
be?
is the science
no
is
one's
really
talking.
lousy about that.
Well, yeah,
no one's
'cause, like-
talking about how the climate change is affecting Superman.
Yeah, why are we not discussing? Well, no one's talking about how climate change is affecting the world.
Kryptonians.
So
Well, that's also right.
Superman is like
Superman's like, guys, you really got to work about on this. And they're like,
Guys, I'm literally
he's like, I'm literally dying.
because I'm gonna explode.
I'm being microwaved.
Why is that not? Yeah, why is that not a Superman story where he's gonna like destroy the whole Earth?
I bet there
The
is. You know how many Superman
The
stories?
sun. Yeah, but you should know this. The sun is.
How did crypto become a thing? Crypto became a thing for the same reason that Superman had hypno glasses in the beginning. Julius Schwartz, the editor, would literally just put in whatever he thought kids thought was cool. Kids loved dogs in the 50s.
Man's best friend.
So they made a comic where Superman got a dog, and literally the comic ends with Superman letting the dog go into space, and at space has this whole backyard to play in. So like they're like, look, no one likes the dog. We never see the dog again. Dog never. And kids wrote in letters. They love the dog, so the dog came back.
Superman or Batman?
Who's more powerful?
Superman.
Well, Superman is more
Superman
powerful.
is more powerful. If the question is who'd win in a fight.
The question is when the
Different
fight is the question who's writing it. Is what it always boils down to. Because
If you're writing it.
if I'm writing it, Superman and Batman don't fight because they love each other.
Okay, they have this conversation in that book that you gave me. It's a bird.
Right? Yeah.
And he asks, and he has these two different people, and he doesn't like Superman.
Right.
They're asking him who would win in a fight, and he's talking about like fans. He's talking to fans of Superman, and they ask him who would win in a fight, and he's like, Batman, and they're like, no, Super's all the way, no, Superman. And I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, well, because I think that's a big part of it is people. I get it. Literally, being the guy behind the counter at a comic shop, I have people come in and go, all right, you settle it. Is the Hulk stronger than the Red Hulk? And it's just like, oh, I don't know. Right.
There's still a chance
Batman could win. Batman could win because
if he has the upper hand.
If Grant Morrison's writing this, and Grant Morrison loves both those characters, they are literally. He's written books about how they are our modern mythology.
They are.
And it's Adonis and.
You don't know.
Who's Batman?
Let's just say
Achilles.
So it's
like he's a perfect warrior.
Yeah, I guess Achilles.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
The Achilles heel is that he doesn't have superpowers.
The Achilles heel is that.
Or that he has trauma.
It is trauma. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
his mommy dropped him when he was little. That was the pearls. Anyway.
That's so awful.
I'm sorry, but if Grant Morrison, who loves both those guys, write it, Batman already knew Superman would do whatever Superman's doing and have it all worked out.
I feel like the thing that brings him over Superman is not necessarily the fighting prowess, but the calculation.
Right.
And the knowledge and kind of that trust issues that like anyone could betray him.
Right, exactly.
So therefore, if they were going to fight and he would have that foreknowledge.
It's a famous story that, again,
Yeah.
Grant Morrison wrote that Batman prepared.
I know that he has things for every single one of them.
But the problem with that is that when you make Batman that paranoid, you distract from the awesomeness of Batman.
Yeah.
Because he's a freakish insane person who's devoting hours of his time. Like Chip Zdarsky. I love Chip Zdarsky, but his Batman recently went through a thing where a fail-safe post-hypnotic suggestion he gave himself created a robot to stop him from killing people. And it's like, Bruce, when did you sleep?
Honey.
Like, you made a
doesn't.
robot
He's
and then hypnotized yourself to forget about it? I guess that's your wild 20s for you.
It's giving Rick.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
giving Rick.
I made
You
a
don't need
robot.
to do an impression. But,
I can
like,
absolutely see that.
I feel like I don't understand a world where Superman and Batman would fight.
Right, absolutely.
Like
And
an
I think-
actual, like if I was thinking about the characters and who they are, like the maturity of them as people, like I think that they would put who they are and their responsibility before fighting. Like obviously for the fans, you want to be like, oh my god, Superman, like
Oh, yeah.
who would win? But
Aquaman and Flash comes in. Who would... Aquaman has sea powers and Flash has speed. Well, but see, that's all again. You're all getting into. You're just getting into the fact that these worlds are so complicated. That's my big fear with this new Superman movie. There's like 7 or 8 heroes in the movie.
there is.
Yeah, they got a bunch of these Hawk Girls in it, Green Lantern's in it, Mr. Terrific is in it.
You know what I love?
That you
The
don't live on the
idea-
internet.
No. Well, no one. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
The idea that Superman doesn't like Green Lantern.
Which Green Lantern?
No, it's just in the
Can you give
Lego
me the
Batman
tissue?
movie.
Oh, the Lego Batman movie, right?
Where
yeah.
he's like just not, or I don't know if it's Lego Batman or what. It's one of the Lego. It's in the Lego universe. He just doesn't like Green Lantern, and I like fully, like I
Oh,
fully
excuse me.
like took that into my understanding of Superman to the extent like because I watch it like at like whatever I don't know, but I took it into like my understanding of Superman, and people will be like, oh yeah, and then he teams with Green Lantern. I'm like,
Never.
yeah, I'm,
Never.
in my head, I'm like, what? And then I have to like address the fact that like Superman does not hate Green Lantern. Like this is
Right.
just a
Well, that's
random
the thing
Lego
is that,
thing.
I was talking about this how for Superman it's what version of it you fell in love with or something, but there's more than that. It's true of all these characters that have been around for decades
So
and
true.
decades. Is that you internalize weird little bits of them that to you is like the real version.
Yeah,
There are people.
but that's with every
There are
character
people
of
who are
every
like, oh
series
yeah,
ever.
right. People are like, well, Harley wasn't really that bad, and I'm like, but she blew up orphans. Like it's in comics. More boom movies. I'm not
What were
sure
you saying?
what you mean by boom movies, but I definitely think that in the sense of the movies, they need to make things that are movies rather than trying to make their universe and build a whole big thing, which is again MCU, 7 heroes being in the Superman movie, which is again not
I really
necessarily
thought it
going
was
to be
just all about
bad.
Superman.
Oh, Doom. Oh, Doom movies. I don't know. Doom is
What
a
does that
character. If you mean the character Doom, then
Like the fact that what's his face, Robert Downey
The
Jr.
Jr. is gonna
coming
be
back as.
yeah. If I think
Dr.
that
Doom.
I think that
I don't think that man ever went to medical school.
Dr. Doom, absolutely. How
Yeah.
dare you? He's a doctor of medicine
just
and the mystic
quoting-
arts.
I'm just
I
quoting
know.
Toy
I
Story.
know. I think that casting has not been a problem with any of these things. I think this David Cornbluth guy could be a really good Superman.
I think I like him better as Clark Kent than I do as Superman.
That's fair. He looks good from
Yeah.
the bits I've seen. I think that actually, for all the garbage that a lot of the last Marvel movies have been, the casting has been very good. I don't like. Okay, this is a big controversial take. I don't like David Harbour. I'm not a huge
Who's
fan. Hopper from Stranger Things. He's Red
Oh,
Guardian.
you don't
and
like him?
I'm like, it's just he's not.
okay.
He's fine. He's
good.
all right.
He's good.
But Red Guardian's a perfect character for him to play.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun for
exactly.
him. Great. The Marvel casting is wonderful. Sometimes the movies are absolute garbage, but the casting is to the guy playing Shang-Chi is perfect. It's perfect. If you know Shang-Chi, if
like
you
personally,
know,
like
yeah,
you?
like I do, like you hang,
Yeah, like you hang like in that crowd.
then you're whatever the hand forever. Then like he's perfect. They're all really good, but Doctor Doom. The problem with Doctor Doom is that like he's originally created as an antithesis to someone. He is a anti-Reed Richards. He's against Reed Richards. He hates Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah,
I
from the
do
Fantastic
not
Four.
care about Mr. Fantastic.
But nobody
Aren't
does
they
except
doing
Doctor
the
Doom.
Fantastic- Aren't they doing the new
Yeah, that's
Fantastic
coming out.
Four
It's
movie?
competing with Superman.
It's competing?
Yeah, it's got Pedro Pascal as
Trying
Reed
to
Richards.
compete with Superman?
It's got Pedro Pascal.
Do not care.
Pedro
I'm not
Pascal,
one
you
of the-
saw him without the
I'm
shirt,
not one
with
of
the
the
open
Pedro,
shirt.
I'm
He's
not
got
one of the
comp-
Pedro Pascal.
I know you're not, but I'm saying he's competition
He's great.
for Superman.
He's great. Don't. attack me.
I'm just saying he's competition for Superman.
No one's competition for Superman.
And
Good luck,
the
Pedro
Ben is
Pascal.
Ben Grimm is being played by some guy from The Bear.
Ah.
Yeah, representation. He's Jewish.
Is he actually Jewish?
Yeah,
Just say that.
he is.
Don't do that.
And Rebecca Kirby, Rachel Kirby. I don't know. Her name's Kirby. That's all I know. Is playing Sue.
Oh. If they like intersect, or if there's like a fight.
Oh well, see, that's a big. I think that's a huge misconception that people have from the power of Marvel marketing. Both Marvel and DC have an absurd number of superheroes
It's insane.
in continuity.
It's like unhealthy.
There's a comic that's coming out
They
right
need to
now at
stop.
DC, the new history of the DC universe, and they're doing wraparound covers that have like all the major characters,
Yeah.
literally shoved, filled with characters, and the Golden Age one, which is literally 20 years, 38 to 59. That cover is packed, and then they just released the Silver Age one. You can look it up. New History of the DC Universe #2, Scott Koblish wraparound cover, and that's everyone from 59 to like the 80s.
Okay.
It's insane. You can't even see the characters. You need like a loop. There's so
But what
many
if it's,
people.
Okay, but what if it's the DCU and the MCU?
Oh well, the movies. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but you know they're implying very heavily
Who would win in a fight, the DCU or the MCU heroes?
the the DCU heroes have so much more power than the MCU heroes. MCU heroes are all
Because they're
realistic.
more. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say they're more rooted in the.
in like how much
reality.
work it would take
Yeah, and like
to do this. Exactly.
power thrusters.
I mean, again,
da-da-da.
apparently Thor is like Superman level strong, but
But not Superman level smart.
well, no, not like Jimmy Olsen level smart. So.
Okay.
No, I mean, you basically, in my opinion, the question is who would win, Rocket Raccoon or Batman?
That's your question.
For the MCU,
Are you trying to be controversial?
No, who's the ultimate tactician? Captain America's gone.
No. We're not saying by now. We're saying like in the golden age of the MCU, when it
Avengers.
was, yeah, like Avengers.
Right before Endgame, when they're all together.
before Endgame.
Like they're all together.
Forget Endgame and everything
Right.
that happened with that. We can still like.
Right before the blip.
I'm not saying literally. I'm not saying like you need to put yourself in chronological.
I need
era.
that!
Listen, I'm just saying like. You have Captain America and you have Iron Man. You have people like that. Like who would win in a fight?
Okay,
Iron Man
and
or
there
Batman?
versus the Snyderverse.
Listen, Iron Man or Batman in this movies.
The Ben Affleck Batman.
Just pick your Batman.
Well, I'm saying that's
one.
who was
Pick one.
Absolutely, Iron Man would beat the Ben Affleck Batman, but I don't think he would beat any comic book version of Batman.
Do you think comic book Iron Man could be comic book Batman? I think
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely not. Comic book Batman beats everyone at the end of the day except one person. Squirrel Girl.
Okay, you're just biased.
She gets in therapy.
You're
No,
biased. You're biased.
She works outside
I
the
don't
box.
like Squirrel Girl. You
I
love
know.
Squirrel Girl. We're just gonna have to agree to
Do you know who
disagree.
visited the store too?
Was it Squirrel Girl?
Eric Anderson, the artist of Squirrel Girl.
So it's Squirrel Girl.
It was Squirrel Girl, yeah, basically.
Dress up like Squirrel Girl.
She did dress up like Squirrel Girl.
That's good.
Your mommy needs some Tylenol. So fine, we're gonna head out. Superman. What makes Superman Superman? MCU means the Marvel movies.
Marvel
as they came out.
Cinematic Universe.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna head out. Remember, tomorrow we're going to look at Mulan Monday. It's the special sale we have going on.
It's the last one of
Last
this month.
one of this month. Yeah, last one of July. Of June.
Get swifty with it, guys. Get excited.
Get swifty.
It's from
Exactly.
Rick and
I know.
I don't know when you stopped watching.
It's in season 1. It's not in season 1. Get swifty.
It might be.
I think it's the concert in season 2.
I don't know when the concert is.
All right. Anyway, until tomorrow, remember, damn it, babies, you gotta be kind.
Babies.
Damn it, babies. It's from Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh.